Maureen, you're going to have to unmute yourself.
Now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
You're all set to go, Maureen.
All right, thank you, James. I know we have a quorum. We have a good representation tonight. I believe only Iris and Judy are not with us. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for giving your time. I'm going to be running the meeting because Diane had some minor surgery today. She's with us because she wants to listen and vote if necessary and be part of the quorum, but she's stepping back and relaxing. Hi, Diane. Hope you're well.
I am well, and I'm icing, and if I'm not talking, you'll probably be done really quickly. Thank you for running the meeting.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, the roll call. Is Gail with us? No? All right, let me see if I put things down correctly. I have Dave, Pauline.
Yep.
Lisa, Neil.
Yes.
Leanne, Pam.
Yeah.
Laurel,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Lisa Maston, two
Yep.
Lisas, Diane, Anna,
Here.
Maureen. Am I missing anybody?
Chris.
Oh, Chris.
Yep.
Sorry. Pardon me?
Lee Brown. Benner Maureen.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
Isn't Lee Bradley?
Is he on the call?
I don't think he's attending.
No.
This is Anna.
Okay. So no Iris, no Lee, no Judy.
And can we just confirm if Gail can speak yet?
I'm trying to get her to, I keep on trying to unmute her, but, oh, no, it should be good now. There, Gail?
Gail?
Yeah, she's unmuted, but she can't speak. I don't know why.
Correct. But now, is this meeting is being recorded, correct?
Yeah, I can get her the audio.
So does Gail still take minutes in a special meeting like this?
Yes, I asked her to.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like she's trying to speak on it, but for some reason her audio is not coming through. I can see a small motion on her phone every once in a while.
I wonder if she can hear us.
Yeah, she can. She sent me an email saying she's on, but nobody can hear her.
Okay, all right. All right, let's call this meeting to order at 7:07 p.m. There's a raise hand function. Or why don't you just speak your name? If you need to say something, okay? If you're going to talk, just identify yourself.
Okay.
We have an important agenda. It's not that long an agenda. So let's begin. Is there any public participation?
We have no public on at this time.
Okay, thank you, James.
You're welcome.
Okay. I missed the meeting where we discussed the various options, but you should all have gotten them in your email. Does everybody have those? The concerns and the suggestions about the race?
No.
No?
I don't. think
Maureen,
I
I don't think that was emailed out to everybody. That was a core group of the race committee just to figure out what
okay.
our options were so we could present those options to our
Okay.
group.
So the key concerns, folks, are that the fundraiser is critical to our annual operating expense, the board's. There's the concern of the health and safety of running a race. The health department has suggested we do not have a live race. Somebody suggested a virtual race that's hard to run, not sure our audience would participate.
And
And then
excuse
we
me,
have-
Maureen, I just got a text from Gail. Could you speak louder? She's having problems hearing you.
Oh, here. I sound like I'm screaming. Can you hear me now, Gail?
I'll watch my phone for comments.
Okay. And then we have the corporate sponsors. How do we advertise their sponsorship of the library if we don't have a race? So those are some of the key concerns. Now, the suggestions are to convert the race to an online charity event with raffle incentive, using the race raffle prizes as we have in the past. People would still have to contact their the businesses and the patrons with a closing date of October 4th and have a drawing on the 5th. Use the library website and a flyer in the Friends newsletter to advertise the event. Use raceentry.com for online donations. And then there's a donation level, $10, one raffle, 22, 25, 3 chances. We could also, somebody suggested creating a tear-off donation form from the newsletter and including it in Lucy to-go orders that can be dropped off at the library drop box. Advertise sponsors support by articles in local newspapers, letters to the editor, and perhaps use Newington community television and do slides and perhaps an interview. And then obviously we would have to get in touch with the corporate sponsors via letter with an update of our change in plans, our appreciation of their continued support, and an explanation of what the library has done while it's been closed to walk-in traffic, but that we're still serving the public. So there's several items. Lisa was going to check on the quantity of gift cards that we have available. And Anna was looking at how to change raceentry.com if we vote to go a charity route. And Anna is also willing to create slides for a charity event and advertising sponsors to be played on NCTV. So we have some decisions. Well, one decision really, or two decisions. We're not going to have the race physically, I don't think, because of the health department's suggestion. So then, and the virtual race might be difficult. So we need to probably just discuss the online charity event with the raffle incentive. Does anybody have any thoughts?
So Maureen, and
The
this
only
is
concern
Anna.
that I have
Yes.
is, this is Leanne, I'm sorry. Do we need a vote to change the format of the event from race charity event?
This is Anna. I was going to make a suggestion that we make a motion and then have the discussion and then we have the vote. I think that's how we do it. So I'd like to entertain a motion that that the Board of Trustees for the Lucy Robbins Wells Library cancel our 2020 5K race, in-person race, and establish a means to hold a drawing on the same date of October 4th, 2020, with the actual drawing to be held on the 5th.
Okay, this is Maureen. The motion is heard, it's on the table, but is there any discussion besides what I'm going to say?
Well, I'll second the motion for purpose of discussion. This is
Okay,
Leanne.
but can we discuss, we haven't, as a group, really decided that the charity event raffle is the way to go. That's just
No.
an assumption
No,
you're
but
making in the motion.
no, Well, maybe we amend the motion to say it may turn it to a charity event.
Okay, the majority rules here. I would suggest that we discuss all the options and then go with motions and
agree.
discussion for an alternative.
I agree with that.
Who was I?
That was Lisa, sorry, Lisa Jones.
Oh, thank you, Lisa. Anybody else have any thoughts? Hello?
I like
No.
this is Diane. I like the open discussion.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we should table a motion for now, discuss all these suggestions, and then make a motion, which obviously would encompass canceling the physical race, and then whatever option, is,
Okay, and this is Anna.
The
I'll withdraw
majority.
my motion.
okay.
This is Leanne. I just had a couple of thoughts about this in going through this. Obviously, the race committee, a core group has talked about it, but as a whole, I think we need to consider not only the health of our participants, but the health of our board. Whatever we do is going to require manpower, and we're still in the midst of this COVID-19 contagion. So my feeling is we should cancel a physical race and that we should consider a charity event. Not only for the sake of, the health aspect, but we have already collected the majority of our sponsorships, which pays our bills. And I think we have to be creative and come up with a way to promote our sponsors and thank them for their assistance and aid to the library and support of the library. And I think we also then want to do it in such a way, we don't want to, I'm sure that most of them are very understanding about the COVID situation, but I don't want to leave a bad taste in their mouth. I want to do as much as we can for that sponsorship. That's my thoughts.
Anybody have any comments on Leanne's suggestion?
I think Leanne makes some very good points. This is Laurel.
I agree with you, Leanne. I think that this is Lisa Jones. I think that that's the right, we need to protect our revenue stream basically, and be able to be creative in how we manage the sponsors' expectations. So I'm not sure if there's any thought to how, other than what I heard when Maureen, you were introducing it, that we would potentially run it on ads on NCTV. I don't recollect the other ones. So if you want to just repeat some of the other ways.
Well, the option is to have the race or not have the race, have a virtual race, which apparently is hard to run. I'm not quite sure how that works, but I think Anna could probably explain that to us.
Yeah, so I can add in a little bit of the logistics. So right now we have it set up so that people who, if we had run the race, people would be registering online. We would maintain the same website and disable those original categories and create new categories specifically for this new event. Let's call it the 3-2-1 draw, because we're talking about somebody enters $25 is the normal entry fee. If somebody wants to continue to support the library with $25, they would get 3 entries into the race. We thought we would make it a little bit more flexible and inviting and come up with some other options. So $20 would give somebody 2 entries into the raffle or drawing, and a $10 donation gives them 1 entry. So it's the 3-2-1 draw. Kevin Mason, we would craft a letter or an announcement to go out to all of the people who have participated in our event for the last 3 years. These are, all the runners and walkers. There is a newsletter coming out from the Friends, and our timing is, we're pretty much spot on for the timing, where we could add an insert. We can't do anything within the letter because of the newsletter, because it's already written, but we could certainly do an insert in the letter. I know the chamber has offered to promote this event as well, so it would go out to the businesses, which I think would be good for our sponsors to see that we're promoting it. And then there's talk about a letter to the editor, and maybe we can do some online interviews with the newspapers as well as with NCTV, and then update the website, our website for the race and the race entry website. So, so there are ways to get that message out. And, if you look at it, I mean, we typically get less than 400 runners. In 400 runners, if we did get 400 runners at $25, that's $1,000. So if we collect $1,000 on this, we'll be doing pretty well.
I just want to make one point. This is Leanne. We can't call it a raffle.
No, we know that.
Trouble with it.
No, yes.
We have to call it, whether it's a 3-2-1 donation or something like that. Because raffles require a whole different set of paperwork and regulations by the state of Connecticut.
Yes.
Correct. And that was something that we were hoping to flesh out in this meeting, because my brain is, I have a COVID brain right now and I'm not being too creative. So, 3-2-1 draw, 3-2-1 go, 3-2-1, 3-2-1 COVID, I don't know.
Okay, I have a couple of devil's advocate questions. Of the almost 400 participants in the race, how many are Newington residents and have a vested interest in the library? A consideration. Discussion in the past that I've had with other people are that, if it's for breast cancer or muscular dystrophy or something like that, it's a more universal charity. Our charity, which is so dear and important to us, is pretty specific to us. That's number one. And I'm guessing we would approach all the folks who have donated in the past, the local businesses.
Maureen, excuse me, we weren't going to go beyond what we already collected. We have all of the dining partner gift cards, and we have a couple of other things that we've already collected, and we would just give those out. We would not be going out to get anything else.
Okay, well, that's good, because my thought about that was a lot of these businesses have been economically affected by COVID.
Right. It's just a way for us to unload what we've collected for this year before we approach them for 2021.
Nope, that's a clarification that I needed. Thank you. Does anybody else have any thoughts?
I do have a little bit of experience, not like Anna, she's more involved with the actual races around here, but there's a race that's near our place in Vermont, and it has a very specific local purpose, but it has a lot of people who participate, much like our race, because people want to run or they want to bike or whatever, and it's Vermont 50. And they determined not to do the virtual race and they have a greater volume of volunteers. They determined it was too difficult to do. Again, I'm not terribly technologically gifted, so, but for them to determine that kind of screamed to me that this was probably not something we wanted to go into the virtual end. Because they had to put out bids, we had more costs we'd have to incur.
So the subcommittee that met is not recommending a virtual race. We're just doing a donation event. So something entirely different.
Well, I thought that's what we were here to discuss. I thought that's what we were, so I thought we were looking at the different options. This is Lisa Jones, sorry. This is the different options that have been discussed.
Hi, this is Diane. I'm going to interject. You knew it was too good when I said I wasn't going to speak. Anyways, we, over the last month and a half, we have investigated, can we have a race? Is it even allowed? If we did have a race, what would be the rules? And if we were going to do a virtual race, how would we pull that off? In terms of the virtual race, it was strongly suggested, since we're not a racing company, that it would be convoluted, and we're not quite sure how many people would sign up. In terms of running a physical race, they've given us all sorts of details on what's available this month. We don't know what will happen in October, but you would have several graduated starts. You could have no more than 50 people on the line at a time. Again, very labor intensive. I don't think that we have the labor to do that. And I'm concerned about everybody's presence from the board being involved with a physical race. So then we went on to talk some more about, well, right now we have our corporate sponsors and we want to make sure that they feel appreciated. And even though we might be canceling a race, how could we make them feel comfortable with their donations and the idea that we are getting the word out that we appreciate their support? Because of course we're going to go back to them next year when hopefully we've all been vaccinated and we can go out among the public again. But those were some of the items that we were talking about and what happens. If we completely cancel the races, we didn't want to do without a way to have individuals be able to donate. As you heard before, we do get a certain amount of money from the racers themselves. And if there was any way to capitalize on that by having them go to the website and go for this drawing, and whether it's, 3, 2, 1 or ready, set, go, support Lucy or whatever it is, those were the options that we were talking about. And I don't know if I've helped clarify things or made it any more confusing, but that's really
No.
what's on the table for us.
That was helpful to me, Diane. This is Maureen. Another question that I have, if we decide to do this tonight, Kevin is going to get us the names of the folks, and we would craft a letter to send to all the former participants in the race.
Maureen, this is Anna.
Yeah.
There's no reason for us to get the letters because the race entry tool that we use has an email system attached to it. So they would get their notice that way.
So whatever the tool is, the second part of my question, what if we only get 5 people who respond?
That would be interesting. I would hope that the people who get the Friends newsletter would read the insert, and they would be, since it doesn't require any effort on their part and no physical participation, that they would make a donation to the library.
So we're not necessarily looking at just former race participants or race participants to contribute.
No, we're opening it up to everybody in the community. That's why it would be, in the newspapers, in the footnotes, the insert in the footnotes, sending out the information through the chamber. And
I'm sorry, excuse me. There's some kind of background noise going on when you guys are talking.
This is Gail. Can you hear me now?
Oh, hi,
Yes.
Gail.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes,
Sorry,
yeah,
I
we
found
can
a way
hear
to
you
do
and we
this.
can hear your typing.
I think that's what
Yeah.
you're doing. You're hearing my typing, so I apologize.
Okay.
I'll put myself on mute, which is what,
Okay.
*6.
I
Okay,
just
sorry.
like, what is that? Okay, thanks.
This is Laurel. Is the main point for us to acknowledge our donors?
Yes. Yes.
Can we do that in taking out an ad in the Current?
But we would still be sitting on these gift certificates that some of them will expire on January 31, 2021.
So you have 2 problems. One is we need to acknowledge the donors, the sponsors, And
The
the other
sponsors.
is to use the certificates.
Correct.
Okay.
How many certificates
I do
do we
think
have?
that- Sorry, this is Leanne, and I do think that the, posting on the website and in addition to the race connection, I think putting it into the newsletter as an insert, people who have perhaps using Lucy to Go, going out there, that they might be willing to participate. I certainly don't think, trying to be realistic here, that we're gonna have 200 odd people registered to do this. But it would give us a healthy pool, hopefully, to distribute the donations that we receive, because that is also something. They are sponsors. They just didn't give us cash. They gave us product in terms of the gift certificates. And we can distribute that way with the drawing. I guess I'm looking at the long run here. We had, just the way our fiscal year runs, June 30th was our fiscal year, and we collected most of those sponsorships prior to the close of June 30th. I would hate for next year, when we go out to look, hopefully when the world starts to return to normal here, that our sponsors would be hesitant. I would like to, as I said, leave a very good taste in their mouth that they were willing to come back, and we tried to work as best we could and promote them. That's my main concern, because the race is our operating budget.
Do you all see any sponsors asking for their money back?
This is Anna. We have reached out to all of the sponsors when we initially changed the race from May to October. And some of them actually some of them at that time had been unpaid. And I had conversations with 2 of those, and both of them, and they've been longtime sponsors, and both of them understood the situation, and however we proceed for this year, they were fine with it and would not be asking for the money back. I can't speak for everyone, but that seemed to be the sentiment.
We had a really good response from the sponsorship. We've had years before where people kind of, it takes a while. But even after our letter, we had two of the 4 that were remaining come in. We've only had 2 of all that sponsors, and we had a huge number of sponsors this year. And some were new, and most of them came through, other than 2. And now, again,
1.
that's a really good turnout for that, and I would like to leave them with, hey, we're gonna do our best, because the point, when you think about it, our promotion is relatively limited. They get it, we are on a t-shirt, we have signs, that kind of thing, and it's kind of the day of the race, and it walks away with the racers. If we could give them a little bit more exposure, whether it's advertisement in the paper, a letter out, word in the crier, things on NCTV, I think it shows a good faith effort on our part that we really appreciate their help. And one of the other things that we discussed in these over the course of the last month is informing not only the sponsors but the public about what's been going on behind the scenes, like all the work that was done in the children's room while we've been closed. Look what we've done. Maybe some visuals, some slides like Anna's going to put together, that type of thing. That I think is a good way of keeping us in the, not only the sponsors and the racers' eyes, but the public's eyes.
Public, yeah. All these are very good points. And I don't disagree with any of them. I mean, this is, as you say, this is our operating budget, or a good piece of it. What kind of people power is this going to entail from the board? I'm going to be very honest here. Everybody on the board is on the race committee. But that doesn't mean there's active participation. So we need to consider that as well.
So this is Anna again. If I could just interject. So some of the tasks are going to be done by people who have done the task in the past. So Kevin Mason would be doing the email announcement to the runners. Diane asked me to, to start a draft of the announcement of the announcement that Kevin would send out, and I've already sent that along to her. So that part is done. It's all going to be online. It's just a matter of the promotion and somebody stepping forward to however do the interview with NCTV. I've already offered to do any slide updates that would be forwarded over to NCTV. The guts of the letter or the announcement that we're sending to the runners could be used as a basis for a letter to the editor. It could also be used, for other announcements. So I think that once we get the wording down, it can just be reused for multiple purposes. And so I don't think that it's going to, and some of the stuff I've already, created in the past. So I don't think that that's a big effort. I mean, I would like to work with Lisa Jones, perhaps. I mean, she's got a good eye for things, and we could certainly submit it to for the board to sign off on, and then at the end we have a cutoff date of October 4th, say new time on October 4th. I have access to the back end. I would download all of the information, all of the names of the people who donated in the different categories, and then Lisa and Karen would go from there on the next day, on Monday, which would be a normal work day for them, and print out the slips for the names to go into a drawing. If somebody from the board wants to be there for the drawing, that I think that could be worked out. But other than that, I don't. And after that, once the names are drawn, then those gift cards are mailed to the designated people, and maybe some phone calls are made in between, letting them know that they won. So, if somebody wants to volunteer for making phone calls, that would be one thing. If somebody wants to volunteer to mail out the gift cards, that would be another thing.
This is Diane. So Anna, that was a nice overview of the possibility of having the charity draw presented. And it looks like there's a lot of back office work to be done, and we have some people identified that can do it, and we can always use more help. If you don't mind, and I don't know if people are still at all thinking about having a live race, and maybe I should just ask that before I take up more time. Is there anybody on the board that would like to consider a live race on October 4th?
No.
Mrs. Maureen, no.
This is Lisa Jones, no.
Okay, I'm just going to ask if anybody speaks up if they want to have the live race. Okay, so that's definitely, we don't have to talk about that anymore. The virtual race as opposed to the charity donation. It was strongly suggested that we don't have the knowledge or the manpower to run a virtual race. We would be relying heavily on Anna and her knowledge to try and set that up. And I'm not quite sure how we do the prizes and things like that afterwards. A lot of it is mailing, similar to the draw.
Diane, can I just interject?
Yes.
The virtual race would require more out-of-pocket expense on our part, because all the virtual races that I've seen, they run the T-shirts, which is an expense that we haven't encountered yet for 2020, and I don't, I don't see us going down that route, because and we don't have, other swag, as they call it, to entice for a virtual race. And we don't have the bells and whistles.
And we don't have any idea of what the participation would be at this point. So it's a wild guess as to how many T-shirts we would print. Okay.
Right. I think that's a risk we don't want to take
Can I interject? This is Chris.
Yes.
It seems like it's getting very complicated. we don't seem to be able to do it virtually, so we should just agree on that. And we've agreed that we're not going to hold it in person. My opinion is that we already do a newsletter. Can we not send another letter to our participants that have participated and to the library, the people that we send the newsletter to, making a special request saying this is, you know, it's a service to this town and to surrounding towns. This is our major fundraiser. You know, we're asking for your assistance at this time. And, you know, any person that participates in this fundraiser will be put into a pool and, you know, a drawing will be had, however you want to state that.
Can I ask who's talking?
Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
I mean, you know, instead of going around and around and around, it's a major service to the surrounding towns and to this town. There should be no reason why we cannot step up and say, you know, this is our major fundraiser. There is no way to not run a library without these funds. We cannot hold the race. This is what we're going to do. You know, we would appreciate any form of donation that you can make.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Make it as easy as possible. You can't keep going around and around. You can't give them T-shirts. You can't give them swag. You can't have people come to the library. So what do? You have a fundraiser like my church every week has been doing. And they, you know, they put a timeline thing. And as people donate, they, you know, it shows how much is in the funds. You know, for 2 months, my church needs $20,000. And every day, you know, I get an update as to how much has been donated. So, you know, going around and around about not being able to do this or that, we know what we can't do. What can we do? That's it. That's my opinion.
So, does anybody else have any thoughts? Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, I do. This is Pam Raynock.
Yes.
The donations that we already have, and how many, do we know how many race participants had registered at this point?
About 20.
That's it, huh?
That's
So we
it.
got a lot more than 20 gift cards.
No. Well,
You know, I was
yeah,
saying we
but
could
don't forget,
just. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Pam, you go ahead and finish.
No, I mean, I'm just thinking, I thought maybe more than that participated, you know, registered, and we could just send out the gift cards we had to those that did register early. But if we have more than that, I mean, I thought Leanne said earlier that we have covered our costs and our sponsors have more than, have our sponsors more than covered the cost. We don't have the cost of the race, the T-shirts and whatnot. So at this point, where are we at with funds raised?
In terms of funds raised, this is Leanne.
Yep.
We pulled in the majority of our sponsorship of $8,450.
Okay, so do we need to solicit more funds?
Let me finish. We've had expenses to the race that I'm not sure if we're going to recoup. We had trophies that had dates and things like that that are going to be a wash for almost $400 because we already had them purchased. We have the timing deposit, which we are still got to find out if we can put toward next year or if that, I mean, that's still up in the air. That's some more money. And then we have we have a deposit at the town, which I'm hoping we can recoup for the rental of the community center.
That should not be a problem. I'm sorry.
Wait, let me finish. We're probably in the realm of like somewhere around $1,200, $1,300 into the race costs. Now, the T-shirts are the biggest expense there, but we also have to remember that our operating expenses we usually bring in more because of all the registration fees too. So we usually clear somewhere in the realm of $10,000 to $11,000 on the race, sometimes more.
Okay. Okay, I get that. This is COVID. Nothing's the same. Do we really need to go out and solicit more? That's my
Yes.
question.
Yes.
If yes, we do.
Well, we need more money to operate. We just put out all that children's fund money. We've had a very good balance running, but we've just paid all the bills for that, all the renovations that were done in the children's center. That was close, I think it was like $8,500, $8,600.
Okay, so if we need more money, then I like Chris's suggestion. My conundrum seems to be, how do we get these prizes to these people? But I guess if someone donates, they'll go into a raffle, they'll go in to pull and we'll mail them the gift cards. I think that's great. As far as prizes, how many prizes we have compared to how many, donations we may receive, that kind of ratio. I think we're all probably in agreement that, this is the route we should take, and we should acknowledge all of our sponsors in many different ways like we've discussed. So now I think more it's about who's going to do what and how it's going to get done and how fast. I mean, I'm ready to say that we could make a motion to do this charity raffle thing, and then we really need to decide who, what, where, how. I don't think we have much more of a choice. I got to tell you all, if it was me, I'd run the race, but that's a whole different story. So
This is Maureen. What is the deadline for getting an insert into the Friends newsletter?
Well, the one of the issues I think is that you would probably want something, I would think you'd want something on the newsletter itself too, because, but the insert, the mailing would be the 25th of August, Maureen, but honestly, the newsletter is going to print this, we're sending it to the printer this week, so really, we would have to have some sort of blurb like in the next day about this.
right.
If you want to have something that's in the newsletter that we're handing out, the inserts would go to, I think it goes to about 300 or 400 households. And then we could put it in the, Lucy to Go. The challenge, I think it's fine to do that. It's just that you get a lot of repeats. So it's not going to hit as many people as you think, but.
Right. Well,
but anyway,
I know when Anna first presented this, she thought it was too late to put something in the newsletter. So
No, we could get something. It just has to be, honestly, it has to be really done by tomorrow as to what you want to say. And it doesn't have to be a lot,
Right.
other than, because the insert could say what you need to say.
right.
But if you wanted it to say, something permanent on the newsletter, the information has to be like tomorrow.
Anna, are you still with us?
I am still with you. Yeah.
Did you say you already had composed something?
I did. And what Lisa's referring to, I think if we had, I came across a really interesting, an eye-catching graphic that said big news. And I think if we use that graphic along with a few words, and I don't know what those words are about, 2020 race canceled, or maybe we don't even have to say that. The majority of people aren't going to know that. 2020, I don't know. What was that? 3, 2, 1, go. What was it? What Diane had a phrase that she used.
Ready, set,
This is
go.
Diane. I said ready, set, go.
Ready, set, go.
Right. And we could say in lieu of doing our annual race, we're, setting up donations with a drawing for participants.
See, I'm thinking just a see enclosed flyer for details on our Ready, Set, Go event.
Sounds
That's
good.
short, sweet, and to the point.
Sounds good.
Yep.
This is Kim. I just wanted to say that we periodically, in between newsletters, put out mini footnotes.
Yep.
Email blasts that probably all of you get. So I think that could be something that we could contribute as well. We could periodically do a mini footnote to update people, to keep whatever the choice is for in lieu of the race, to keep it active in people's minds.
Thank you, Kim. The friends
That
are
was
great.
helpful. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Kim.
Just, you know, just let me know and we can work on that.
Thank you, Kim. Is there any more discussion? I think we may be ready for a motion. Folks?
I'm good. This is Lisa. I'm
Hearing,
good.
This is Leanne. I'll make a motion that we cancel the 5K race and convert it into a charity event. Ready, set, go.
For
Second the
2020.
motion.
For 2020?
For 2020.
Second the motion. This is Laurel.
is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried.
And we're off and running. How to say it.
So I think the logistics, as far as operations for this charity can be done offline then. Correct?
Okay,
Yes.
this is Diane. Is there anybody on the call who is interested in jumping on this and helping the group that started finish this or nail it down?
This is Pam. I can help out for sure with sending out whatever prizes are won by whom.
Okay.
So
Great.
wherever I need to get them from, and you know, the dress envelope, whatever, any type of thing like that.
Super, thank you.
When do you think that we would be actually wrapping the whole thing up?
October 5th.
Okay.
The actual drawing is October 5th, so
So
I
we
would think that
so
week.
we would know who, okay, great, perfect.
This is Maureen. If whomever's going to take the helm can call me and ask on a per needed basis. I am absolutely in the midst of a very busy time at work. So I have some evenings, but my daytimes are just non-existent at the moment. So ask me, and if I'm available, I'm certainly going to help.
This is Lisa.
This is Dave
Lisa-
Hanel. I know I'm not a voting member, but I wanted to let you know that I have a town council virtual meeting tomorrow, and I will generally mention this tomorrow unless you have an objection to it.
Terrific, thank you. I have no objection. Does anybody else?
Oh.
Okay, thank you so much, Dave. Okay,
Anna,
Next.
this is Lisa Jones. I'm
Yes, Lisa.
I'm happy to help out.
Thank you.
Wherever you need me.
Perfect.
And just for the record, I'm in the library usually once a week, masked and, you know, everything else socially distanced. But if there's got to be contact into the library, I can do some of that, whether it's helping Lisa and Karen the day after, you know, when we're drawing and that type of thing, and bringing the, like, for example, getting the gift cards to Pam to be dispersed, that kind of thing. So I'll be around for that.
Perfect.
any other discussion or conversation about the race, the charity event? I'd like to move on to the second item on the agenda, which is the Hanel events. Anna, do you have the two events that were scheduled and the dates? If you could share that with us.
Okay, so we had one event scheduled for October, the third Sunday in October. Sorry, I don't have the date. I didn't expect to have the date.
Okay.
That was for Wanda Houston, who's a blues performer. And the other one is an event in December, the first weekend in December. And that was going to be Larry Garreau's quartet.
You said the third Sunday in October?
I'm pretty sure that's
October 18th?
Yep.
And then the Larry Garreau was a December
Yes.
holiday event?
Hold on, I think this Larry Garreau, Larry Garreau was December, backwards. Larry Garreau was December 13th.
Okay. So those are the only two events that we have scheduled through the end of the year for Hanel.
Correct.
So the discussion at hand then is, are we going to continue with the Hanel event? Are we going to cancel them for this year? And also, I guess I don't know how the performers feel, if they've, if they're still performing. Some of the considerations are that the library isn't that big to spread folks about in a safe distancing manner. And we'd have to limit participation from the public.
Yeah, the other thing is that we're talking, it would have to be inside because of just the change of weather.
Right.
So that is an issue, but for two points of information for you. Number one, no monies have been expended, but I do believe, and I don't have copies of them, but I believe Karen has done contracts with both of them. And I don't know what the status is of that. You'd have to talk to Karen on that.
Leanne, I've reached out to, sorry. I've reached out to Wanda Houston a few times in the last month. I haven't received any response. I don't know if you have, Anna. Have you had any luck?
I haven't. My last conversation with her when everything started shutting down was that she was basically pulling her hair out, trying to figure out how to maintain a living. I did happen to go on the Berkshire website today, and she's actually performing under a tent with the Colonial Theater in Pittsfield. But when I did converse with her, we said that everything was subject to what the status of the coronavirus was going to be at the time of her performance. And it was going to work both ways. So, but I have not had a chance to talk to her. And I had the same conversation with Larry Garreau.
I think that at this juncture, the decision whether to have a Hanel events or not would rest on our shoulders, not on the performers.
I agree, Maureen.
So I think it's a rather simple discussion, and perhaps we should just call for a motion to cancel Hanel for this year. Last year.
I'll make a motion to cancel the two Hanel events for October and December 2020.
Second the motion. This is Laurel.
Someone's trying to speak.
Yeah, it's Pam, sorry. This is just a logistics question. Under this money, aren't we supposed to provide 2 events per year? And are we okay with canceling? There's nothing holding us back from that, correct?
No.
Okay.
It provides for 2 events. It doesn't mandate.
Okay, that was just my question.
Right, Diane, correct? I'm pretty sure in all the years.
I'm not sure if it mandates or not. Here is my thought before
I
we
thought
go
it was to be used for that purpose, but
It is to be used for that purpose, and I believe we're supposed to have 2 events a year. Here's my thought on that. We had set them up. The library is not open to patrons at this point. We don't know if we would allow patrons to come in October or December. If and when we do, the social spacing would have to be quite deep, which would not really allow a lot of folks to come in. We did 8 events last year. We certainly got the name of Hanel out, and we certainly brought a
Right.
lot of culture and enjoyment to the town. This is not a whimsical, we're too busy, nobody's interested in holding an event. We're in the middle of a global pandemic, and we're choosing not to have an event in our space because we don't know where we will be over the next, 5 to 6 months in this year. So
I really don't think
I
that
haven't checked the
this would be
wording
an
on
issue.
if we're required or not. It is a good question, Pam. But with all of those considerations, I don't think we would be harmed. It's not like we're not having events.
Okay, that's fine with me. I just wanted to check,
Yeah.
that's all.
Okay, everybody write that down, and that's what we say in the court of law.
One of the other things in past years, when it says 2, we've only had 1.
Right.
And so I think it's a case of, we've made best effort here. This would be very hard to argue that, we should have this and no one can come in.
There's also no monitoring.
Right.
Do I hear a motion?
Excuse me for interrupting, Dave Nagel. I have to attend another meeting. I had them move it back away, so I'm going to have to leave now. I wish you the best. And
Dave, thank
I
you
will
so
make that
much for
mention tomorrow.
participating.
And if you want to let me know about Hanel, I can mention tomorrow. You can text me, or I can just lie low and you let me know what your decision is whenever it is.
Yeah,
So thanks.
I think, okay, so and you'll mention the race information at the meeting, correct?
Correct.
Thank you for that. And I'm pretty sure there won't be Hanel events. So,
All right, but I won't say anything unless somebody texts me something saying to,
Okay.
okay?
all right.
Okay, good.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Dave.
Good night.
Good night. May I hear a motion to
Anna
cancel?
made a motion,
I already made the motion.
and
Oh,
I
Anna, you
seconded
did.
it.
I'm
This
sorry.
is Laurel.
And you're seconding?
Yes.
Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried to cancel the Hanel events for 2020 with all the aforementioned reasons. Is there any public participation on any other items?
We have no public in attendance.
Thank you, James. And that being said, and I thank everybody for your participation for this special meeting. Lots of good information. Email is a wonderful thing. We'll be hearing more about how we're going to affect our charity event via email and or phone call if necessary. And so I would like to hear a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second,
That was Pam, so moved.
I'll second it. It's Anna.
thank you, Anna. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm in favor, even though it means that you yet again had a meeting in an hour.
Hope you feel better soon, Diane.
Diane, feel better, and everybody, thank you so much, and be safe and healthy, please.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Thank you, James.
There it was.